Hey, how's it going? Hey, let's do a what do you call it? A follow up, or I don't know, just kind of like a an update and show a couple. I want to show a couple different pictures of the same people that we looked at yesterday or this morning, and yeah, just give them more information. So let's start with my grandfather. Now, you remember what I was saying if you saw the other video that he came to America when he was 18 from the Azores Islands. And so I want to show you guys a picture of, so this is where he ended up, and this is where he came from. This is a picture of my grandfather's house where he grew up in the Azores Islands. And as you can see, it is made of stone. Walls made of rock and floors made of dirt, my aunt told me. My Aunt Emily took this picture in 1950. It says Dad's home right there. So in 1950, my Aunt Emily and my Uncle Johnny went to the Azores to visit our relatives that were left there. And this is a picture of their house. And yeah, so quite a difference, isn't it? This is a picture of the church that my grandfather grew up going to, also in that little village on the island of Saint George. The village is called Caeta. So, yeah, I wanted to show you where he came from and where he ended up. And then we looked at my aunts, when they were children. And then my friend Michael in the comments, asked about Aunt Kay and the Gran Torino that she drove, because you think that, wow, well, Gran Torino was in the late 60s, early 70s, and that would have made her, an older lady. And she was. And it was in probably the 73 or 74. Maybe her Gran Torino was a 72 or a 73, maybe a 74. I'm not sure. But that's when she was driving that gold Gran Torino with a black top. And then here's what she looked like, and what some of my other aunts looked like when she was driving the Gran Torino. So it's funny. I mean, we could have looked through that picture, and I could have told you that my Aunt Kay would be the one that would look the least like her childhood picture, and it kind of does. So this is my mother on the far left. This picture is from 1981. And then that's my Aunt Kay right there with those big sunglasses on. And she, even in her 60s and 70s, and then here you see her as a child. Even in her 60s and 70s, my Aunt Catherine, my Aunt Kay, had a very shapely figure, and she was very young and outgoing. Even at this age, she was still working as a manager, cocktail waitress, bartender, every job you could think of that would exist at a restaurant and a bar. She still did it at our family's restaurant and bar. I don't really even think that she was getting paid. You know what I mean? So she worked in the family business of restaurant and cocktail lounge, her whole life up until probably her 80s, maybe when she she might have stopped working in her late 70s. This is my Aunt Rose right here, super sweet. This is my Aunt Millie back here, and she was also, they're all sweet, man. I mean, they were all great, but my Aunt Millie was very sweet to me. And then this is my Aunt Emily right here with her purse, and she was the one that I wanted to live with of all of my aunts, and I stayed with her a lot. Like, I possibly at one point probably was going to live with her, but my mother kind of pulled out of what she was going through. And but my aunt Emily was Aunt Emily was really something else. She taught me a lot of unusual things. She was into some cool stuff. But yeah, she used to let me like stay up late and watch Johnny Carson with her, fall asleep on the couch. And She believed in the supernatural. She used to do this thing called Up Table Up. You ever heard of Up Table Up? Up Table Up was, we would sit at a little table, like a small card table, across from each other, and we would put our hands as close to the top of the table as possible without touching the table. And we would close our eyes, and then we would have to think together, put our minds together, and in our head, or barely under our breath. But I think the idea was we were supposed to stay perfectly still and perfectly quiet. But in our head, we were saying to ourselves, up, table, up, table, up, table, up. And the idea was that I believe my Aunt Emily was tricking me into thinking that I had telekinesis. So, true story, man. And then over there on the far right, that's my Aunt Clarice, and I talked about Aunt Clarice yesterday, I think, too. That's her in the center there. They owned the gun club. They had a gun club, and she was very athletic. I mean, you can see right here, she's probably in her 70s, and she's still swimming laps and laps every single morning. And I mean, you can see her. Yeah. So just an update on my amazing and awesome aunts, and my mother. This is my mom in 1952 in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. My father was going through helicopter flight training at this time in Fort Sill. And this is her car. I feel like this is a Plymouth. I don't know. Is that a Ford right there? I can't tell. I thought she told me that she drove a Plymouth, but this might be a later car than the other one. Her little shoes. So that's about it, man. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this little quickie, and have a great day. And I'll talk to you later.